Okay, so today we have just a classic, heartwarming story for you. It's all about fate, family, and how one little dinner party completely changed the course of two lives forever. And it all started with this: four simple, unbelievably direct words. This one sentence right here is what kicks our entire story into gear. It's a moment of just raw honesty that led to something truly amazing. Now, to really get why that statement was such a big deal, we have to rewind a little bit, back to the spring of 1941. Our main guy, Fred, is trying to put his life back together in a brand new city. But, well, he's missing one really important piece of the puzzle. So this was Fred's journey. We're talking about Frederick Walton Seaver Jr., and he was fresh off a pretty painful breakup back in Massachusetts. So what does he do? He makes this dramatic 3-day drive all the way across the country to kind of escape his heartbreak. He ends up in San Diego with his wonderful family, the Chamberlains. He even gets a new job. He was building a new life, for sure, but that old heartbreak was still kind of hanging over him. Okay, so picture this. It's just a regular family dinner. Fred's there with his Aunt Emily, his cousins Dorothy and Marcia, and Dorothy's husband, Marshall. It seems like any other night, right? But it's right here, in this super safe and supportive place, that Fred finally decides to say out loud what he's been feeling for a while. And that's when he says it: I need a girl. So what was really behind that? I mean, was it a moment of just bold, refreshing honesty, or was it more like the desperate cry of a guy who's still healing from a broken heart and is just tired of being alone? Either way, he put it out there into the universe. And just like that, an unexpected hero enters our story. You know, while the adults at the table might have been a little surprised, one person there saw an immediate solution, not a problem. Without skipping a single beat, his 14-year-old cousin Marcia just chimes in, "I know one." There's zero doubt in her voice, just that pure, absolute confidence that only a teenager can have. You gotta love it. She didn't just have a vague idea, she had a very specific person in mind. So who was this perfect candidate that Marcia was so sure about? Well, believe it or not, she was thinking of one of her very own teachers. And wow, talk about a contrast. On one side, you have Fred. He's 29, tall, a good-looking guy, but he's emotionally wounded and basically starting his life over from scratch, far from home. And on the other side, Betty Carringer. She's 21, a San Diego local, and a really educated and independent art teacher with her own career. I mean, they were in totally different places in their lives. And then you have the age difference, 11 years. Back in 1941, that was a pretty significant gap between a 29-year-old man and a 21-year-old woman. It just adds another interesting little layer to this whole potential match, doesn't it? And let's be clear, Betty wasn't just anybody. She was Miss Carringer, a graduate from San Diego State, a sorority member, and a respected art teacher. This was a modern, professional woman for her time, talented, educated, and living her own life. It's pretty easy to see why her student, Marcia, thought so highly of her. So a teenager's idea is one thing, but actually making it happen? That takes a little help. And this is where the rest of the family gets involved, turning a simple suggestion into what I like to call a full-blown, heartwarming conspiracy. You really have to wonder, though, why did the adults go along with this so quickly? I mean, they could have just laughed it off, told Fred to go find his own dates, but they didn't. Nope. They leaned right in and basically became co-conspirators in this little plan. When you look at it, their reasons were so simple and full of heart. First, they saw their cousin was hurting, and they just wanted him to be happy again. They also trusted their daughter's instincts, and they'd probably already heard Marcia talk about how wonderful this art teacher was. But really, at its core, they just believe that family is there to help you build a new life. So the plan was just beautifully simple. Marcia and Dorothy would host a dinner party. Marcia would be the one to actually invite her teacher. And Fred? Well, he just happened to be there as another guest. See? No pressure, just a friendly family dinner. And you have to remember the time period here. We're talking 1941. For a young, single teacher like Betty, getting an invitation to have dinner at a student's home was totally respectable and appropriate. It wasn't some sketchy blind date setup. It was just a safe, friendly gesture, and maybe even an interesting way to spend an evening. So whether she was curious about Marcia's cousin, or maybe just open to a nice evening out, the most important thing happened. Betty accepted the invitation. The plan was a go. So, the stage is set. The heartbroken guy from Massachusetts and the independent art teacher from San Diego are about to meet, all thanks to a teenage matchmaker and a family that just wanted to help. The date is on the calendar, so the big question is, what do you think happened when they finally sat down at that dinner party?